The story begins as the demon Lord Claudine launches an attack on the kingdom of Catelyn, and after an intense battle, there is only one person left to challenge her. We meet the hero Jed, as Claudine mocks him for approaching her alone, thinking the kingdom has abandoned him. He suddenly attacks her, but she manages to block it, and she charges up a spell, attacking him with energy blasts. Jed manages to dodge it, but she pushes him back with a wave of energy. She admires his skill, telling him to join her army, but he instantly refuses. She thinks he is fighting to save humanity, but Jed reveals that he just wants to take her treasure and save the princess, causing her to become confused. We learn that this is Jed's dream, because when he was a kid, he was told that if he defeated the demon lord and saved the princess, he would become rich and the princess would marry him. Claudine can't believe this is what the hero is like, but all Jed can think about is saving the princess, thinking she's going to give him a reward. He gets fired up, and he delivers the finishing blow, saying his dream makes him invincible. He takes Claudine's staff, and he is excited to meet the princess. But when he gets to the princess, she's not what he expected, because it turns out to be the Prince Ruda instead. Ruda offers to reward him, but he says it isn't necessary, and he immediately teleports away. Jed returns to his room, frustrated at the demon lord, because she kidnapped the prince instead of the princess. Prince Ruda makes it back to the castle, surprising the royal family, and the king wonders if he's okay, but Ruda mentions he has found something interesting. We see a girl running through a burning village, and it seems she is being hunted, but Claudine appears before her, and they spend their days together, until she was cut down by Jed. The girl wakes up, and we see that she is after Jed. We learn that Claudine had 4 generals, but they all ended up losing to Jed, and going their separate ways, but the girl Jaina infiltrated the kingdom to get revenge. She prepares to go out, swearing to avenge Claudine, but we see her working at a maid cafe. We learn that she went to the city, because she wanted to collect information about Jed, but she happened to see Claudine's staff on sale, and it's way too expensive for her to afford. She's desperate to buy it, and she saw that the cafe across the street is hiring, so she decided to work there. Although she was able to make some money, she thinks about how she hasn't found any leads on Jed, but when she goes to serve her next customer, it turns out to be Jed. She becomes nervous, thinking he's tracking her down, but he just thinks that she's the best maid in the kingdom. He places his order, asking her if they provide additional services, and Jaina thinks he's a pervert, so she calls him out, but he explains that he heard he could take a photo with a maid if he ordered a meal. The manager appears, reprimanding Jaina for yelling at a customer, and she arranges the photo for him. Jaina is forced to smile for the photo, and Jed leaves the cafe, while Jaina can't believe he didn't recognize her. As Jed walks away, we see a man watching him, having taken a photo of him with Jaina. He runs to report to the king, recognizing Jaina as one of the 4 demon generals. But another man rushes past him, also holding a camera. He wonders if the man is a fellow spy, but the man stops in front of a girl, and he magically changes her clothes. He continues to take more photos while changing the girl's clothes, but they call him a pervert, and they start beating him up. The man is revealed to be Pag, another one of the 4 demon generals, and we learn that he is a veteran photographer obsessed with magical girls. During the battle against the kingdom, he defeated the strongest female knights by taking photos of them, and he even published a photo album at the end of the war. We see Maria, the captain of the squad, cursing Pag as she sees his album, thinking they are being humiliated. She thinks about getting revenge on him, and at that moment, she sees him running away from the girls. Meanwhile at Jed's house, we see him framing his photo with Jaina when he hears someone knocking at his door. It turns out to be Pag, and Jed tells him to go away, but he begs for help, calling them old friends. Jed doesn't recall being his friend, and this makes him cry, as he remembers how Jed stabbed him in the chest. Pag continues to beg, so Jed eventually lets him in. He thanks Jed for his kindness, and he is surprised to see Jed's photo with Jaina, asking him what's going on. He finally realizes Jaina's identity, and Pag thinks he must like her, so Pag thinks about using her pictures to bribe him the next time he needs help. At the castle, the king can't believe that Jed is hanging out with Claudine's generals, and he wonders who gave the order to follow the hero. It turns out it was Prince Ruda, so the king wonders what he's planning. The minister suspects that Jed is colluding with the 4 generals, thinking he couldn't have defeated all of them by himself. So the king orders his knights to capture Jed and the two generals, and we see that he has already captured one of the generals named Rock. A mysterious figure appears, knocking down the guards, and telling Rock that he is about to be executed. We learn that the man is Ruda, and he offers to help Rock escape, so that he can rebuild the demon army. But he thinks it's all over, causing Ruda to become upset. He reveals that he no longer wants to fight, because Claudine is already dead, so the prince decides to leave, as he declares that he doesn't need Rock's help. While playing in his room, Jed asks Pag about Rock and his reason for joining Claudine's army. Pag isn't sure, but thinks it has something to do with the legend of Dardo. In the legend, one of two twins in the kingdom will be sacrificed to the black dragon Dardo in exchange for its eternal protection. Jed decides to buy food, asking Pag if he wants anything. He says that he wants to eat chips, but he keeps adding more items, causing Jed to become upset because he's asking for too much. The door bursts open as Jaina appears, swearing to carry out her revenge, but she sees Pag in the room, so she becomes confused. Pag tries to explain that they are friends, but she finds him suspicious, wondering if he was the one who allowed Jed to enter Claudine's castle. Jed confirms this, but Pag tries to explain, saying he was just a little careless. He explains that he was guarding the castle gate when Jed handed him the new issue of Magical Girls Special, causing him to become excited. But as he examined the item, Jed took the opportunity, striking him down. But Jaina can't believe what she's hearing, and she is determined to avenge Claudine, so she charges at Jed. In a flashback to the night Claudine was killed, we see a puppet show where she resolves things peacefully with the hero. We learn that Jaina is the one playing with them, but Jed approaches her, and she is surprised to see him. She tries to explain what she was doing, but during her exposition, he just knocks her out. Back in the present, Jaina continues to advance against Jed, as he tries to explain that they don't need to fight, because the war is over. But she unleashes a series of attacks, which he manages to evade. She throws a knife, and he easily dodges it, but he realizes that it's going to destroy his action figures, so he uses super speed, catching it in the nick of time. He starts yelling at her for messing with his collectibles, and he throws the knife, pushing her back. He exudes a dark aura, causing her to feel nervous, but she still tries to attack him, throwing multiple knives, but he shatters all of them with just a flick of his finger. Jed throws her against the wall, and she finally realizes that she can't win. He tells her that he had an intense battle with Claudine, and that he defeated her to end the war, reminding Jaina that the war is over, so no one else needs to die. Jaina recalls the moment she spent with Claudine, and she starts crying, causing Jed to become nervous. He apologizes, thinking he was too hard on her, so he agrees to let her hit him, because he thinks that it will make her feel better. Jaina prepares to punch him, as he erects a barrier so that it won't hurt that much. But when she attacks, Jed feels the full force of the blow, because she has an armor-piercing ability. She agrees to take a break from her revenge, but Jed suddenly senses they are surrounded, so he looks outside, and he sees the king's soldiers, thinking he isn't the target. Jed calls Jaina, telling her that they should hand over Pag to the soldiers, and she ends up agreeing to his plan. They come out of the building, and Jed offers Pag to them. The Archmage thanks him, but he knows that Pag wasn't the only one there, declaring that Jed is colluding with the enemy, so he needs to be brought to justice. He casts gravitational magic, but Jed manages to resist it, and he uses reverse magic, allowing him to turn the tables. The Archmage wonders how it's possible for a swordsman to use such a high-level spell, but Jed explains that he never said he was a swordsman, revealing that he only uses the sword because it's cool. The Archmage stops the spell, ordering the knights to attack, and seeing this, Jed decides to run away. They are attacked by a girl, forcing them to stop and ordering them to hand over Pag. Jed happily complies, and he continues to run away. We learn that the girl is Maria, and Pag becomes excited looking at her outfit, and he starts taking pictures. The other knights arrive to help her, but she immediately realizes that they are not wearing their costumes. We learn that the knights discussed that the only way to defeat Pag is to wear the dress he gave them, thinking it will lower his guard, and the knights promise Maria that they will also dress up. But she asks them where their costumes are, and they tell her that it was too embarrassing to wear it, causing her to become upset. Meanwhile, Jed continues running, using spells to defeat the guards, and Jaina thinks that he is actually a mage. The knights block their path, so they jump to the roof, where they are attacked by a powerful magic beam. The Archmage tells them to stop running, saying they have no chance to escape because the whole kingdom is hunting them down. Seeing that they are surrounded, Jed takes out a teleport ring, saying there is still a way to escape, but there would be a problem. Jaina doesn't let him explain, and she immediately uses the ring, teleporting them away. The mage uses a magic tracking spell to find them, and he is surprised to see where they are. They find themselves in a cave, as Jaina wonders where they are. A creature emerges from the shadows, and it welcomes Jed back. Jaina is surprised to see a red dragon standing in front of them, and Jed greets it, calling it his master. The dragon asks if he is ready to be punished, and he tries to tell his master to wait, but the dragon swallows him whole, causing Jaina to panic. The dragon spits him out, and it transforms into a girl, saying she wants to have a conversation with them. They appear in a room with Jed feeling worried, and his master Lessie says she has many questions for him, but wants to start with what he did with her horn. So she casts a truth spell on him, making him confess that he sold it to a noble as a great tonic, so she gives him a beating. She thinks that he hooked up with Jaina, who tries to explain the situation, but Lessie begins to cry, wondering why he had to grow up like this. Jaina realizes that he has lived there since childhood, so she thinks that he's also a dragon, but he says that he is just a normal human who grew up there before becoming a hero. Lessie remembers the person who persuaded him to become a hero, and in a flashback, the sage Godel Platinus explains that Jed must become a hero to do well. He tells Jed to defeat the Demon Lord and marry a princess to reach the peak of his life. Little Jed dreams of this, telling his master that he will become a hero when he grows up, while Godel leaves the place in a hurry. Back in the present, she recalls that since then, he started doing bad things like stealing her horn, so she can't let him leave again, because it's too dangerous outside. Jed admits that she is right about the outside world, saying that's why he returned. He thought that she would immediately look for him after he left, but Lessie thought he had gone to Catalan to avoid her, saying she can't go there because of someone. As Rock approaches the venue for his execution, a woman approaches him, and he recognizes her as his sister Gil. She is the eldest daughter of their family, and has been talented in swordsmanship since she was a child, swearing to marry someone stronger than her. But she has never tasted defeat, so she remains single, even though she is 35 years old. An officer asks her not to interfere with official matters, but he is sent flying against the wall. Gil defeats the guards with one move, and she approaches her brother, using a toothpick to blow a guard away. Rock wonders what she's doing there, and she reveals that their father sent her. So he wonders if their father wants to save him, but Gil tells him that their father wanted her to deal with him. Rock can understand why, realizing he hasn't been forgiven for joining Claudine. But she explains that their father doesn't care about that, since it helps the family's name grow, but she will kill him because he was defeated. Rock says he has no regrets, but she decides to free him, telling him that Claudine's death is not the end, because he can still lead the army. She tells him that he is her little brother, so she should be the only one to defeat him. More soldiers appear, and Gil gives Rock a sword. The guards advance against him, but he fights back, blowing them away. Rock admires the legendary family sword, and Gil tells him to keep it, because she doesn't need it. He asks how she will explain this to their father, but she thinks that he must have anticipated that she would do this. He thanks her, and she bids him farewell, as he thinks about making a comeback. As he walks around the town, he bumps into Pag and the Knights. He easily defeats the Knights, and Pag is surprised to see him. He wants to return to Claudine's castle, saying he will become the new Demon Lord, and Pag wonders if he's going to start another war. Rock wants to wipe out the kingdom, but first, he wants to go after Claudine's staff. He feels magic in a building, and he decides to go there. As he looks around, he finds a knife, realizing that Jaina lives there. He sees Claudine's staff, and he finds a photo of Jaina with Claudine. He remembers how Claudine arrived with Jaina, asking him to teach her martial arts. Years passed, and he was able to teach her well, remembering the day the photo was taken. He wonders where she is now, and Pag mentions that she ran away with Jed. After Pag explains the situation, Rock becomes confused, fearing for Jaina's safety. At the castle, the king is frustrated to learn the news about Rock, thinking about how Jed and Jaina might be involved with Lessie. Ruta wonders if they should consider this a national crisis, and the Prime Minister thinks that the situation is severe, wondering why their guardian, Dardo, has not yet appeared. At that moment, a shadowy figure appears, asking Dardo to fulfill his part of the deal, and Ruta starts laughing. The atmosphere changes, and the roof is destroyed, as Dardo flies to the sky. The minister is astonished, but the king says that he shouldn't have seen this, so he decides to take him out. People look up in awe, as Ruta controls Dardo, and he starts looking for Lessie. At Lessie's house, Jed asks to be untied, but Lessie thinks he will run away if he is set free. She tries to say that they are safe from the forces of Catelyn, but she suddenly feels Dardo's presence. Dardo unleashes a breath of energy, but Lessie uses a massive barrier to block it. Jed is injured by the immense power, causing Lessie to become enraged. She transforms into a dragon and charges at Dardo, knocking him to the ground and crushing him while he's down. The area explodes, as Jaina looks unimpressed, and Jed explains that even among dragons, she is a force to be reckoned with. But Dardo begins to rise from the ground as he regenerates his body. Ruta notes that her attacks aren't strong enough to defeat him, and he manages to bite her. Lessie is able to push him away, and she uses her fire breath to destroy his body. But he keeps regenerating, and she struggles to take him out. Seeing this, Jed notes that it's not a common healing magic, saying he can't let this continue, and he decides to help Lessie. He gives a necklace to Jaina, telling her to run, as he teleports to the battle. As he formulates his plan, he sees the shadowy figure, and Dardo attacks him, but he teleports to Lessie. He tells her to relax, as he transforms her back into her human form. He summons a series of portals, and he bids Dardo farewell, as he teleports away with Lessie. They appear at Jaina's location, and Jed removes Lessie's other horn, causing her powers to drop significantly. Dardo can no longer sense Lessie's powers, and Jed notes that his plan is successful. Lessie is upset, because he got rid of her powers, but Jed explains that they can't defeat Dardo. Dardo's body begins to dissolve, as Ruta wonders why she ran away, revealing that he wants to die. In Claudine's castle, Rock prepares to take the position of Demon Lord, and we meet the 4th General, Karn. We see that the king has killed the minister, and Jed watches on as Ruta continues to despair, wondering why he wants to die. But that's where this video ends. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.